Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the emotion of sadness and how to deal with sadness in any situation. Today we're talking about sadness and how to deal with sadness in any situation. So as with everything else, we first need to look at what are our beliefs, what are our thoughts about sadness, because why would I want to deal with sadness? It must be because I feel like there is something wrong with being sad. If I didn't think there was anything wrong with it, then I wouldn't want to change it, right? So that's true for anything in our life. If we want to change or deal with something, it's because we don't like what is. We want the situation or circumstance to be different than what it is. So let's talk about sadness. First of all, what is it? Well, we know sadness is an emotion. And what are emotions? One definition of emotion is that emotions are just energy in motion. So we can say this about any emotion, but today we're talking about sadness. So let's ask the question, is sadness, is that good or bad? Well, it's neither. It just is. Is it okay to be sad? Sure. But the question is, why are we sad? And why do we want to be sad? So if we remember the equation for emotion, so what is it that creates emotion? Oftentimes we think that the equation is the antecedent or the event or the circumstance. So it's the antecedent equals the emotion. So somebody close to me passes away. So that's the antecedent or the event. The emotion connected to that may be sadness, but that equation is incorrect. The correct equation is the antecedent or the event plus my thoughts about the event or the antecedent equal my emotion. So it's not the event or the antecedent that creates the emotion, it's my thoughts about the emotion. We have to remember that events, things that happen in our life, mean nothing. They have no meaning until we attach meaning to them. And we do that through our thoughts and our beliefs. And our beliefs are just thoughts that we have had over and over and over until they become patterns and they become beliefs in our life. And most often, those beliefs are at a subconscious level. So we're not even really aware of the thoughts that have created those beliefs. We just get triggered by an event. We have the thoughts that automatically come into our head through the subconscious part of our brain that we don't even question. And then that creates our behavior and our emotion. So why would I want to be sad? Again, we know that everything we do in life, we do for a reason. So if I am choosing to be sad, there's a reason for that. Now maybe it's just I've been conditioned. So throughout my life, I've been taught, I've observed in other people that when this happens, the emotion connected with that is sadness. So when this happens, I'm supposed to feel sad. Well, again, it'll go back to, is feeling sad okay? Yeah, it is okay. But if I want to change that, I don't want to be sad, then just by recognizing that I can change it just by changing my thoughts, then that gives me the control to let go of the sadness and experience the emotion that I want to feel. So that would be if sadness is just a conditioned response. We don't really know why we're feeling sad, it's just what we're supposed to do. So again, by turning our brain on, by becoming aware, recognizing what is the emotion that we're feeling. So, oh, I'm feeling sad right now. Why? Well, I don't really know for sure. I'm feeling sad because this happened. Okay, well, do I want to feel sad about it? No. Okay, so could I change that? Yeah. And how do I change it? Well, I do it by changing my thoughts. So I could process the event or circumstance and attach a different meaning to it which would create a different emotion. Or if it's something that maybe really isn't that important or critical, we just let it go and we change our thoughts to something else. So let's talk for a minute about why we may choose to be sad. So there are selfish or self-interest reasons why a person may choose to be sad. Think about, again, everything we do for a reason. So we behave in ways that give us certain outcomes. It may be that being sad gives us an outcome that we want. Maybe we've experienced in our life that when we're sad, people pay attention to us. And when people pay attention to us, we feel like we're valued. And so we may look for opportunities, again, at a subconscious level. So maybe I'm feeling ignored, I'm feeling lonely. And so my subconscious doesn't like that state that I'm in. I want to be in a state of happiness. Now this is a contradiction, right? So I'm unhappy. I want to be happy. I've learned throughout my life that the way that I feel happy is by getting attention, having people pay attention to me. And I've learned that one way of doing that is by being sad. So I create a situation in which I am sad so that people will pay attention to me so I can be happy. Well, that's a crazy way of achieving happiness. Why not just choose to be happy instead of going through that whole process of having to manipulate other people, trying to get them to do what I want in order for me to feel what I want to feel. So that's one example of how we may have created a false belief to give us an outcome that we want. And by identifying what is the beliefs that are driving our behavior, so why are we doing what we're doing, we can change those beliefs, correct those beliefs, replace them with healthy beliefs, with more beliefs that work for us to give us what we want. We don't have to play the games that we oftentimes play in life in order to get what we want. So let's talk about one other way of dealing with sadness and how sadness really is a choice. So let's say that something happened in our life, and we'll just say it's the loss of a loved one, and we're feeling sad because that person is no longer with us. As long as we think those thoughts that we're missing that person, well, the result is we're going to feel sad. But we could change our thoughts about that person. We could focus on the good times that we had with that person. Maybe if that person was experiencing illness or some real painful things in their life, we can recognize that now they're in a place where they're no longer experiencing that. And when we have those thoughts, that will actually change our state to where we can feel happiness or gratitude about the situation instead of sadness. So again, we want to look at if we want to change the emotional state of sadness, how do we overcome sadness in our life? Again, it's recognizing that sadness is a choice. We want to look at why are we choosing to feel that emotion? What is the payoff or the outcome that we're getting from that? Or is it just a conditioned response that we've learned and that it's just part of our autopilot? Or we can look at the meaning that we've attached to that event. In any one of those situations, we can take control over our emotional state. Again, by just recognizing that we have a choice about how we think of any experience or situation, and that by changing the way we think, our emotions will change. So if we don't want to experience sadness, we have the power to change it. If we want to feel sadness, it's okay. And maybe we want to just allow ourselves to feel that sadness for a period of time, to process and to experience a loss or whatever it is, whatever that event is that we want to feel sad about. Allow yourself to feel it, to experience it, and then once you've experienced it long enough, let it go. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and visit our websites. You'll see them listed below.